So we all know that book 13 is perhaps the worst rated of the Wings of Fire series. This is not due to it being bad, but due to something a lot of reviewers seem to hate: gay people. I found these reviews half amusing and half sad, so I made this video to cover both the reviews and the ideology behind them, as I find that ideology to be surprisingly prevalent in the fandom. There's actually an account with over 10,000 followers who sometimes says things like the people do in these reviews, and I just want to tackle the arguments I feel like they and similar folks might have. So if you want to listen to my arguments against gay people not appearing in the books due to the discomfort of a party, please skip to the category labeled Ideology of Passive Homophobia, otherwise let's start the video. Before we get started, if you're new to this channel, please think about subscribing. I regularly post both Wings of Fire and Workouts content, so you'll never be bored. And to my current subscribers, thank you for supporting me so much. I wouldn't have gotten here without you. Let's get on with reviews. Disclaimer, these aren't all of them. A lot of them are repeating the same thing, so I found some of them that I consider to be the best. Up until this point, I have really enjoyed the series. However, this book became so political and preachy that I don't know if I'm going to continue to find out how the story ends. She introduces, in one book, genocides, a gay dragon couple, the politics of war, an angry person in charge of country, etc. The main character is simply unlikable, and she goes from wanting to destroy an entire race to suddenly having compassion and empathy seemingly overnight. The story was lacking for me because the author was trying to address too many cultural issues all at once. This book isn't that political. There is no commentary on class or states' rights or anything like that. The only thing remotely political is gay dragons. Oh, wait, that's probably the issue. Identity politics, right. Also, too many cultural issues. The only cultural issue in this book that is prominent is the saplings versus the poison wings. I don't get what this person means. This book is not too crowded and introduces as much dragons as the other books do. Let me describe the lost content like she describes the poison jungle. Tui introduces dragon classism, flame silk slavery, a resistance movement, and a hetero romance in one book. Look at how crowded it is! Sundu's behavior does not change overnight, as she is shown to develop in the previous books when she goes from silkwings are just being bad as highwings to seeing them as victims too. This is a natural progression of her character arc to come to fully forgive the silkwings for participating in standing side as the highwings decimated the trees. This was probably closer to 3.5 stars. The story was great. It had twists and turns and left you holding your breath and afraid for the future of everyone at the end. But like Rick Riordan's books, Sutherland started injecting soapbox platform crap that doesn't augment the story. It just takes away. Why is it so hard to write YA novels without drawing focus to take some personal opinion garbage? I hope the next book doesn't get too stuck on it. The Dragonverse was perfectly fine as it was. You know who also is a tiny bit soapboxy and preachy, and who literally did a section called Stan's Soapbox? Stan Lee, famous comic book writer. Look at the entire franchise that he's made, and tell me you haven't seen a movie from it. The entirety of Magneto in the X-Men universe is the most soapboxy thing ever. It's a giant metaphor for the end of segregation, and if you don't see that, I'm sorry, but you need to go back to high school to get your reading comprehension up. Once again, no politics except for menial identity ones, and comparing it to Rick Riordan makes it clear the only thing you care about is the gayness, even though you seem to be opposed to saying it outright in this comment. In addition, Rick Riordan is hella more political in the field of identity politics than Tui, as he tackles issues such as isolation based off of racial groups, and also is a gender-fluid character in Mangus Chase. There's so much more, but if I had to list it, I would be here all day. Anyways, please read The Dragon Pearl from the Rick Riordan's Presents collection. The book was okay, but I found the poison jungle thing kinda boring. And I guess I just can't really relate that well to Sundu. I do like Willow a lot though. I think her personality is far more likable, and I think I would have rather have seen this book from Willow's point of view than Sundu's. I feel like more development could have been done for the Leafwing Kingdom. I just felt like I didn't get a very in-depth view of their culture or building style. I had a hard time visualizing it. They are kind of like Rainwings, but a little bit different maybe? I kept trying to differentiate between them and Rainwings in general. I think when it came to the way their buildings were structured, I needed some more help visualizing it. I guess the most annoying part to me was the fact that the antagonist all along was a plant. I mean, really? No offense, but did no one else care that they outright killed Hemlock? They were so scared of killing the other dragons because the dragons were controlled by the plant. But killing Hemlock was perfectly okay, I guess. I guess it's convenient to kill dragons who have been separated from ones they love for 50 years or whatever it was, so someone obviously no one cared about, but will hesitate to do the same thing for the same reason to the dragons we love, because they're more important. Hit a wrong note with me, but I guess they didn't have much of a choice. it was either Hemlock or Willow. Still, I wish they had thought about it after the fact. Like, doesn't anyone feel sorry for Hemlock? I was actually kind of sad he died. I wanted him to meet Queen Sequoia again after 50 years of separation. I was looking forward to that reunion, actually. Oh well. I actually agree with this one. The poison jungle does feel a bit like the rainforest, but slightly more dangerous. However, I think the architecture for the poison wings is a domed village with sundews and other plants on the outside, with airlocks being the only way in or out, which is definitely a bit different than the rainforest. Hemlock's death was very tragic and he should have lived, but I think that's the point, that he isolated himself because of the other mind, and he likely wasn't even as fully himself in the years leading up to his death. I just wish we got more of him too. I hope he gets a novella. Also, I was definitely disappointed by the plant being the villain all along. I wish it was something more intimidating, and it kind of felt as a letdown after Darkstalker. I get that the straight agenda is part of everyday life. At the same time, it's every parent's right to debate whether to introduce these realities to children. This was highly inappropriate content for my 9-year-old. I am angry that the author felt necessary to introduce straight relationships in a children's book. I'm returning the book, and I'm highly disappointed in the author and the publisher. I feel the same way. I'm glad Tui finally embraced God and added in an LGBT romance the way things should have been since the start. Seriously though, satire is a good tool and can be used to get people to re-examine their own arguments. 10 out of 10, plus Glimmer has a great character arc, so make that an 11 for the profile picture. Wish I had seen the reviews before buying. My daughter and I have loved this series since we first started a few years ago. I am very disappointed in a lesbian relationship. The themes do not belong in children's literature. I was suspicious of who Sundew's secret friend may be, and was very disappointed when I found out. Unfortunately, my daughter read before I did, and I have been on spoiler alerts, and I didn't know the book's true intent. So now that I'm 1/5 way through, and I know its true agenda, I feared I should finish it, so I know what she's been exposed to even though I really don't want to. Thumbs way down, Sutherland. Bad form. Oh no, you have to. Gasp! Have a conversation with your daughter. Sure, it might not be something you're looking forward to, but it's a part of parenting to go over difficult topics with them. Honestly, this guy reminds me of people getting pissed at Turning Red for including periods. It's the same argument pretty much, just with gay people this time. She would have found out about gay people sooner or later, even without this book, and you would have had to tell her about that then. So, get mad at Tui. Bumblebee is so cute, and I love when she imitates Nettle's voice, saying meh, meh, meh. It's awesome. And Willow and Sundew are so cute together, as Storm would say. Stop being cancel turds about female-female relationship. Keep up the awesome books, Tui. Honest admission, but I hate Bumblebee so much. Adding taller characters who are supposed to be cute just comes off as annoying to me. Not everything revolves around children. Great storyteller, and the characters are unique and dynamic, but there's some romantic topics that do not need to be there. I wish the author had left out the romantic part for children and stuck with adventure and good triumphing over evil. It doesn't matter to me who's involved in romance. I don't want my children to be reading books about love and romance at 10. Also, the way it was presented in the book was not okay. They hid their relationship, lied to people, and it was an LGBT romance, which I then had to discuss with my child about, and it all took me off guard. My child loves the series, and so far we've never had an issue with the topics from the book, but the themes were a bit mature for my 10-year-old. The author has other books in the series centered around romance before, like Darkstalker, so you can't claim adding romance is new. You're just mad that they added gay romance even though you tried to deny it, and just say, I didn't want to tell them about the topic at this time. Once again, you're gonna have to tell them about it sooner or later, and telling them about it is called parenting. The books aren't just mature for romance though. They're mature because it contains a dragon gutting themselves. If your child can handle Arctic disemboweling, they can handle a bit of sapphic hugging. The majority of these reviews do not outright say that homosexuality should not be in the books. However, all of them say the books should come with warnings as it is inappropriate and should be warned about. Even though it isn't preaching fire and brimstone, it still is homophobic. They just want to be more tasteful about it and have deniability. They just want to deny that they dislike the gay lifestyle in a sense. We don't hate the gay people, it's just the lifestyle. We don't want our children learning about that until it's time. At the same time, none of them actually say why it should be banned. They just leave it at it being inappropriate and leaving them uncomfortable without giving any further justification, which makes it pretty clear that their points are hollow bullshit. Homophobia isn't just the Westboro Baptist Church. It is also the people who don't want pride parades even just for one day because it makes them uncomfortable. You know what makes me uncomfortable? My school government having a chaplain, but I don't go around demanding that that role be abolished. Same thing with other types of fiction containing morally dark topics in inappropriately condemning ways. However, gayness isn't something morally dark at all. It is something between two consenting persons. Well, most people don't give a straight reason, so I can't attack exactly what the root cause is. The most justified reason that people use for not wanting homosexuals in their books is religious differences, mainly Christian. To that, I say that banning homosexuality was preached maybe 3 times in total in the Bible, whilst not crossing whatever cloth type you are wearing was mentioned more often, but no one follows that. You are just cherry-picking verses. In cases where the Bible isn't the factor but is personal discomfort, I feel like the root cause of this discomfort may be that they are feeling uncomfortable in their own sexuality. No, I'm not implying that every homophobe is a raging homo. Let me explain. Let's use pineapple on pizza for a metaphor, something relatively harmless that people get worked up over for no reason. Pineapple on pizza has always existed, however due to societal pressure they're rather isolated. Eventually the pineapple lovers band together and realize that having pineapple on pizza is okay. They start putting pineapple on pizza menus instead of just cheese after a long time of debating and polling and asking into businesses. The cheese people see this as a threat. Pineapple people should just order off menu like they always had. It's better than making people know that some people eat pineapple on pizza. That's so hard to explain, and putting pineapple on the menu is just shoving it down their throats. Since the cheese pizza people have had normal or cheese pizza on the menu for so long, just having a tiny bit of space taken up by the pineapple pizza can feel like that. What's incredibly ironic is the cheese pizza party doesn't realize that by telling the pineapples to stop shoving their pineapples down their throats and trying to ban pineapple on pizza, the pineapple people can only eat cheese pizza now. They are censoring the other party the same way they feel censored but really aren't. Putting pineapple on the menu in reality doesn't do anything but let the pineapple eaters know that it is okay to eat pineapple. Even if it is an uncomfortable subject and cheese pizza eaters must talk to their children about that, it's a part of parenting. We have to remember that we aren't talking about preferences in pizza here. We are talking about sexual identity, something that cannot be changed. It is okay to feel uncomfortable with pineapple on pizza, but it is not okay to feel uncomfortable with the innate trait of a human that does no harm to others. I'm sure the comment section on this one will be civil. If it isn't, I once again will not hesitate to delete comments. I mean it, that is not a passive threat. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I make Wings of Fire and Warrior Cats videos pretty often, and your support would mean a lot to me. And to those who are already subscribed, thank you for your continued support. I wouldn't have gotten here without y'all. That's all. Peace out.